So for us, the idea is to create new visual analysis techniques, find new abstractions, new ways to take that data, often large scale, and make it into a way that our visual perception system can understand it better.
At the 2014 SIAM Annual Meeting, Christopher Johnson discussed how visual data analysis is helping researchers understand and use the massive amounts of data being collected in numerous fields of study.
We are creating every other day as much data as we did from the beginning of mankind till about 2003. So we all feel that we're inundated with data, we're overwhelmed with data, and so how are we going to understand and make the best use of all of this new data we're creating? Well, about half of our brains are used for image processing and visualizing. And so if we can find the right abstractions, the right mappings of that data to something that our visual senses will understand, we think that that's a good way to try and make use and understand this data.
Medicine is one of the disciplines where visual data analysis is being applied.
One of the most exciting applications we're working on is with movement disorders, and this is with Chris Butson, who's a bioengineer, and he is a computational neuroscientist who studies deep brain stimulation as a way to help people with movement, Parkinson's types of disorders where they can't control the shaking, the drugs are no longer working. There is a procedure now where neurosurgeons can implant these electrodes deep into the brain that will stimulate certain parts of the brain and basically stop the seizures. And we've created an application that takes the patient-specific simulations that Chris Butson does of the patient's brain and where the electrode was implanted, and then we can use our visual analysis to very quickly optimize which of those stimulation sites and how much voltage is given off at those stimulation sites to basically control the movement disorder. So it's taken the traditional way was a multi-hour procedure to optimize, and we're down now to less than 5 minutes using this visual and analysis simulation approach. Another exciting project we're working on is the Connectome project, which is this set of neuroscientists throughout the world who are using high-resolution electron microscopy and creating the highest resolution scans of the brain ever. They're using these scans to find the fundamental wiring diagram of our brains. It's an enormous amounts of data, and it's a huge challenge to be able to visualize that amount of data interactively and then also simulate and find out the answers to their questions about finding where these neural pathways and connections are.
That looks pretty clear to me, and I think that a person or an algorithm could find the edge or estimate that edge pretty well. Let's look at the other side. Where's the edge? Well, it's not so clear.
Using imaging of a brain tumor as an example, Johnson also discussed the need to account for error and uncertainty in visualizations.
So on the left-hand side, I would feel comfortable if this was my brain to tell the surgeon we have a good estimate and you could probably cut across the red line. If this is your brain, where do you tell the surgeon to cut? And these, of course, are the decisions they have to make, and they make them under uncertainty.
I often ask my colleagues and others, when is the last time you've seen an error bar in one of these nice three-dimensional color visualizations that you see? And most of them will say, well, probably never. But we know that there's error and uncertainty there. And so one track of research is trying to figure out how can we find the right abstractions to indicate what level of error and uncertainty that can help the physician, the scientist, the engineer make those decisions under uncertainty.
With continued growth in data collection, visual data analysis will continue to play an important role.
The amounts of data that we have are exponentially growing, and their complexity and their types are exponentially growing too. So we have social network data, we have text, we have images, we have databases of MRI scans, we have simulation data. We also have all this data from sensors all over the world of different kinds of sensors. And so with each type of new data and the amount of data, we need ways to analyze it and understand it. And so we see the future is positive for visual analysis in the near and I think far future.